Villains are the best carved characters that make a movie or flop it. Do you remember their names though? It's a shame that they are much underrated as compared to the other main leads. In the remembrance of such masterpieces, we have listed down the all-time greatest animated movie villains in this video. We sure had a great time watching them. But now it's time that we have a look at their crimes, and at the same time we examine the punishment they deserve. So let the jury begin.
I protect the innocent.
We owe everything to him.
And in my brave and noble quest for justice, nothing will distract me.
Puss in Boots is an entertaining animated family movie. This movie revolves around two friends, Puss and Humpty, their journey from childhood friends to rivals. While both of them think that they have been betrayed, the story further goes on with one of them choosing to take revenge.
I hate this place. I cannot wait for us to get out of here. Throw a rock. It'll make you feel better.
Oh boy, we should go.
An instinct. I reacted.
Now that's one bad egg and everybody knows that. Humpty Alexander Dumpty, popularly known as Humpty Dumpty, was grown in an orphanage, and he was Puss's best friend. But not for long. Humpty had an extremely tricky and cunning nature. His love for worldly things was never-ending. Thus soon he became involved in many crimes such as stealing, animal abuse, attempt to terrorism, and betrayal. You would often find him being chased by the guards. Humpty betrayed his childhood best friend and tried to frame him into a bank robbery. However, it doesn't end well, as Puss somehow manages to run away and Humpty is caught. Humpty asks Puss to help him escape the guards, but Puss refuses. Feeling betrayed, Humpty decides to take revenge. He hires Jack and Jill to hunt Puss down. Humpty came up with a master plan. He somehow convinced Puss to steal the magic beans and plant them. They went up in the sky to the late giant's castle for the purpose of stealing the golden goose's eggs. As they reached there, they figured out that the egg was too heavy to be lifted by them. So they grabbed the gooses instead. And as they came back, Jack and Jill took the goose. And while Puss was in prison, Humpty became a hero as he distributed the golden eggs among the people. Later, Puss is warned about the Great Terror, the Mama Gooses. The Great Terror came to find her baby, and whilst everything was destroyed by her, Puss steps up to save the people and return the gooses to her mother. Where a situation arises where Puss has both the goose and Humpty hanging from a bridge. Humpty knows he won't be able to hold both, and he sacrificed himself by letting himself go. Charges. Humpty was involved in theft, treason, kidnapping goose, and attempt to terrorism. If he was to be charged for his crimes, he would be sentenced lifetime imprisonment and a penalty of $1,200.
Let's get started. You should come by sometime to work out. You look like you work out. Oh! I guess it's just you and me, huh?
Nope, just you.
An unpredictable and captivating animated movie where fighting dragons is normal. This movie gives the lesson of shining as you are in your own unique way. The movie shows Hiccup and Toothless friendship growing stronger despite all their differences and flaws, giving the message of friendship, kindness, and tolerance and courage.
Get her!
The main villain of the original How to Train Your Dragon movie was the Red Death, a Titan-winged Red Death, the alpha dragon of Dragon Island. Throughout the movie, Red Death has behaved like a cuckoo chick or a queen bee, since she did not actually hunt for food. Instead, other dragons in its nest brought it to her. She would eat any dragon that brought her insufficient food, as was the case when Gronkle got her just a single small fish covered in saliva. This offended the Red Death, who straight away ate him. Other dragons meant nothing to her, and they were frightened of her. She lives up to her reputation. Humans and dragons both were terrorized by her, as she was known for destroying her enemies. Similarly, Toothless was scared of her as well. But this stopped when his friends with Hiccup grew stronger. His fear reduced, and Red Death turned against both of them. Whenever Red Death saw them, they were attacked by her. But she couldn't outsmart the mutual bond of Toothless and Hiccup. She tries to eat them. However, they set fire to the gas in her mouth, resulting to the end of the most feared dragon, Red Death. Charges. As we have mentioned in this video, Red Death committed some serious crimes. Being a tyrannical predator, she was found guilty of animal abuse, mass killing, slavery, mass destruction, terrorism, and cannibalism. She should be punished with 3 life sentences and $4,500 should be charged on her.
What do we do for fun?
Hey, kids!
What is that?
BHA, BHT, and good old MSG, aka the gym. Dig in!
It's impossible to overlook the Hedge's message about families looking out for one another, forgiving one another, and sharing sensibly natural and inhabited spaces. Unsurprisingly, the movie downplays the underlying criticism of wasteful consumption and lifestyle that it drew attention to.
I believe someone phoned about an animal problem.
Dwayne LaFontaine, popularly known as the Verminator. He was an animal exterminator. Dwayne is highly skilled and takes his job seriously. Animals in his path are not tolerated by him. He is guilty of animal mistreatment, abuse, and attempt to murder. As shown in the movie, Dwayne attempted to kill Ozzy, who had pretended to be dead, but the opossum escaped into the hedge, saving his life from the Verminator. Vern was hiding under a car when Dwayne smelled him and bent over to catch him. However, Vern had already escaped back into the hedge to join the other animals. Dwayne puts in a powerful extermination device in Glady's backyard without permission, since he assumed she would need it. However, many traps and methods used for capturing the animals were illegal. Even after that tried and failed to capture them. In this attempt to exterminate those animals, the Verminator tried to chase them and was caught by the police and imprisoned for his illegal acts. Charges. As for the charges that should be applied to the Verminator, he was arrested for doing an illegal act. He was involved in illegal uses of hunting devices, violation of driving rules, and attempted to kill several animals, for which he should be imprisoned for 2 years and 7 months with a penalty of $550.
You'll never be the Dragon Warrior unless you lose 500 pounds and brush your teeth. What is that noise you're making? Laughter? I never heard of it. Work hard, Panda, and maybe someday you will have ears like mine.
That's good.
Seeing a huge, fluffy panda engaging in a martial arts fight is hard to imagine. The big panda stars in a formula against all odds, which dooms him to success. The famous Kung Fu Panda's intended audience is kids and younger people, but undoubtedly people from every age group will enjoy it. It's a light-hearted family movie with a message of love and hope.
Where's the Dragon Warrior?
How do you know you're not looking at her?
You think I'm a fool? I know you're not the Dragon Warrior. None of you! I heard how he fell out of the sky on a ball of fire. That he's a warrior, unlike anything the world has ever seen.
Po?
So that is his name. Po. Finally, a worthy opponent.
In the Kung Fu Panda series, Tai Lung is a prominent villain. In the first Kung Fu Panda movie, he serves as the major opponent. He is a powerful snow leopard who was Shifu's former student, Tigress' adopted older brother, Peng's uncle, and his arch-enemy. Shifu initially put him through training with the goal of making him a dragon warrior. However, once Ogway refused to give him the mighty dragon scroll, Tai Lung destroyed the Valley of Peace, which led to his defeat and imprisonment before he could return to battle the real dragon warrior. He aggressively attacked his old master and father figure as the latter, who was reluctant, resisted him out of resentment that Shifu had not stood up for him. Being defeated by Ogway and spending 20 years in prison did not lessen his resentment or rage. Instead, he grew more convinced that he's the dragon warrior, informing Zhang after he fled that he was the true dragon warrior, even though one had already been selected. Tai Lung is still aggressive and proud. Paradoxically, this is what led to his downfall because he couldn't think Po, an obese panda, could become the dragon warrior. He breaks through the prison. He comes back to the Valley of Peace, and once again he attacks his father like Master Shifu. He demands for the dragon scroll, but Shifu refuses to hand it over to him. Tai Lung challenges him and almost finishes his master, but Po confronts him. The two warriors begin to fight for the dragon scroll. Po, being the true dragon warrior, wins the battle and finishes Tai Lung once and for all. Charges. Tai Lung crimes caused him lifetime imprisonment, which he should have never escaped, but he made the mistake and paid the price.
you, son. You got no business being out here.
This is it. I want you to stay behind.
Oh, Dad, they're New Yorkers. They're just rude and frightened people.
Stay back.
You're gonna let your dinner get away?
Madagascar Escape to Africa is a funny and adventurous family movie. The story is about some animals from the New York Zoo. They meet the local wildlife after a few more mishaps along with some daring New York tourists, where Alex the lion meets his long-lost parents.
Hey, I'm okay. I just happened to walk by. I thought I'd wish you luck. You're not nervous, are you?
Nah, it's my thing, you know? It's kind of what I do.
In my opinion, the key to this whole thing is choosing the right competitor.
Oh, you mean like this is like a dance battle sort of thing? Like a dance-off?
Sure.
Great, love that. Freestyle, put your moves out. Who do you think would be a good match for me? You know, just to keep things interesting.
Well, I wish I could help, but that's strictly against our ancient tradition and all that we hold sacred. But if it was me out there, I'd choose Tsitsi.
Tsitsi, okay.
Makunga. Makunga is the brother to Alex's father and the villain in this movie, as Makunga and Zuba are engaged in an ongoing power struggle over who will lead the lion pack. Even though he did fight Zuba several times, Zuba frequently wins. It is shown at the beginning of the movie that one of Makunga's tactics leads to hunters capturing Alex. Years later, when Alex makes a comeback, Makunga tricks him into a fight with Tsitsi, who easily dispatches Alex. After that, Zuba loses his position of authority and is exiled from Makunga's domain along with his family. However, Makunga turns out to be even worse. When the water runs out, Makunga suggests using force to fill the gap. His supporters reject him. The problem is finally resolved when Zuba, Alex, and their other allies destroy the tourist-built dam. But due to his evil nature and greed for power, Makunga still keeps them banished. However, he was later tricked by Alex into stealing Nana's purse. What happens next? Well, let's say thanks to Nana, the wildlife was safe. Charges. Makunga tricked his own nephew for power. Due to his acts, Alex was captured by hunters. He could be imprisoned for life for betrayal and disloyalty to his brother and his king. His action led to the kidnapping of his nephew, for which he should be charged $1,150.